All right, I believe we are live. Welcome back to my channel. I am Lone Crow 503, and we are going to be continuing on with the development of my 2.5D platformer. Today, we are on episode 6, so if you haven't been tuning in, feel free to go back and check out my prior streams. You can see that on Twitch, on Facebook, and right before I went live, I actually finally went through and figured out all that I need to do to get these videos on YouTube. And the upload process is going to take a little bit of time, but they should be uploaded by the end of the day today. So without further ado, let's get into this. All right, so where we last left off, let me show you guys a little playtest. And I keep forgetting to go through and debug the max view and how it changes the physics. We've got the elevator working. If you have 8 coins, we've got a wall jump. And now we have this block that we can't get past. So for that, I've adjusted the player position for testing purposes. And we are now going to start right up here so we don't actually have to platform all the way around. And that way, that'll make testing a lot easier. So, similar to last time when we learned about the on-controller collider hit method, and we got the normal values, which determines the direction that's, I believe, perpendicular, which, if I'm using that word wrong, forgive me, but I believe it was perpendicular, which should be, if you have a vertical object, perpendicular would be horizontal to it. And if you have a horizontal object, perpendicular would be vertical to it. And so what this would determine is that if you're on the ground and you're standing on it, you are on the vertical normal for this horizontal plane, which is how we're able to, with the character collider, detect when we're on the ground as to allow us to jump because we're grounded. And that's what resets our jump, because I can double jump, but I can't do anything more than a double jump until I touch the ground again, and it resets that. And then we just use that same sort of logic, except instead of using the built-in logic for the character controller that can already check if you're grounded, we went through and detected those normal values for walls so that we could project ourselves off. And now we are going to use those to detect if we are touching this block, because as we're moving, we don't want to start pushing the ground away from us. We want to check and see that we're hitting this block surface, and if it's capable of being moved, to push it. So, oh, and as a reminder, just because crazy people try to steal my content, uh, the work that I'm doing is based on a project designed by Jonathan Weinberger, who is, I believe, the owner, but for sure a prime developer and instructor for the Game Dev HQ. What is this program called again? It's like the Professional Developers Program or something like that. So the point of it is to teach you the basics of computer programming with C Sharp and Unity, and then to help you make that transition from knowing what you're doing to getting a job in the industry, whether that's as a software developer or a game developer. It doesn't matter. A lot of it's the same logic. Um, I mean, I could build Microsoft Word in Unity if I wanted to. It would just be, I mean, essentially a matter of just a bunch of UI interface versus actually like adding character controls. Um, So he's an amazing instructor. I took his classes on Udemy, was so impressed that I joined his program, and it cost me $1,000, but I'm happy with it. I think it's worth it. And I've learned not just a lot about game development and programming and helped to flesh out my knowledge because I've been doing this for over 7 years. But I've also learned a lot about kind of the simpler things like LinkedIn. I never really used LinkedIn. I used Facebook sometimes, and then social media wasn't quite my thing. But LinkedIn's important for business, for this industry, and it's important to make connections and to make sure that you have like a large group of people that will see your content. If you make a new game and there's nobody out there that knows who you are or ever sees your posts, then nobody's going to be able to know unless you pay lots of money for marketing, which, I mean, once I have my company established, 90% of any income that I'm making from any product that I produce is going to be going to marketing for like the first year because that's the only way to really bridge that gap and become a known entity. So let's get into this. So we're going to do some code going in here. We're going to do the hit collider. So remember, we save the collision hit as hit. So when I type that, it's saying like essentially like on collision enter, except it's going to detect like the vertices of it stuff as well, and not just entering a collider or exiting or staying within. It's detecting the point of collision. So let me say transform.tag, and we're going to say equals moving box. We'll say rigid body, we're going to name it box, and then it's going to equal hit dot collider dot get component, and then rigid body. Now it's important because if we're trying to detect this and there is no rigid body because it's been destroyed or there's some bug or you forgot to add it, it's going to break it. So it's important to add a debug log. So we're going to say if box does not equal null, I'm not going to use square brackets. Then we're going to debug.log. Or no, sorry. Just checking that it's not null. So that'll be good enough. If it's not null, then we can do this. And so then it's not going to try to run logic that's going to use a rigid body that we can't find. So. Oh, by the way, shout out to Tazo. I don't know if you guys can see the little T tag right there. So this is the brand Tazo, and the flavor's called Zen, Z-E-N, and it's lemongrass, spearmint, and green tea, as well as I'm sure a mixture of whatever their blend is. But this with a spoonful of honey, delicious. And lightly caffeinated. I don't drink coffee. I can't stand the taste, so I drink tea. Plus, it's healthier. So vector 3 and call it push direction equals new vector 3 and then box dot from St. Helens, Oregon. I don't even know where that is. Let me guess. My car's limited warranty is about to expire. Let's find out. Hello?
Our records show that your vehicle warranty has expired or is about to expire. This is your final courtesy call, as you should have received mail.
It doesn't matter how many times I block those numbers. And essentially, I'm guessing that they just use a number and then they just scrap it, get a new one. And so to keep blocking those is essentially if I ever am needing to get a call from somebody that happened to use one of the, quadrillion numbers that I'm sure this company is just going through like a freaking onion router, it's it's gonna end up blocking tons of people in the future. So there's nothing I can do. Different numbers every single time. It's from different places all over the state, all over the country. It doesn't usually say like from Bangladesh or Tokyo or like other countries. And a lot of times it'll say it's also in Oregon, which I live in Oregon. Where exactly? Not going to tell you. But it's just, man, so annoying. It's straight up become a meme, and it's so known that this is like the scam that it's like people all over they're just like trolling them on YouTube, and yet they still are keeping this scam up. Like, just stop, man. Just stop. And like, if you answer, it's like people from random foreign countries, like they have like thick accents and stuff, so it's like not even local people. It's like some freaking like box company in India that's just pulling in whoever they can to make these calls, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But what can you do? So we're gonna say move direction. Move position, move rotation, direction. Oh, not box though. That's it. And we need that's dot x 0 0 because that's vector 3. In vector 3, you're going to need uh, 3 coordinates, as you'll see here. It needs a float for x, y, and z. And we're going to apply the push, so we're going to say box dot velocity. And then we're going to say equals push direction times push power. Now we're going to create that variable. So we'll say right, the float push power equals 2.0f. So yeah, let's jump in here. And now we're going to need to create a tag. So we're going to need to add a new tag, call it moving box. Was there a space? Very important that you have it. Yeah, there's a space. Completely accurate. And let's see. We test this out. Whoa. We're moving a box. It's kind of cool that it makes it roll like that, though. I'll be honest. Oh, that's right. I can't control my jump. Ah, I hate the committed jumps. Just do not like that. Yep. All right. So we're gonna adjust this though. So it's gonna push the box like a slide instead of uh, a push like that. And I'm guessing it's because the point that we're pushing is coming from like the center of the player and it's pushing it straight. So see if we can adjust it. We'll freeze its rotation though. And look at that. And now what if we came up here and we say push power is going to equal 3.5. Get out of here. Hmm. Now, something that bugs me with this is you see it's a little bit jittery. And I would imagine that is because the collision detection, possibly. So let's say this is just going to be continuous instead of discrete. Still jittery. So switch it to continuous dynamics, see if that helps. No. I don't know too much about the collision detection things, but we'll see. Maybe it'll help. Nope. So we'll change that back. Oh, could it be the angular drag that's set there? Very well could be. Let's see. Dang. Well, still gonna have that set to 0. We don't want any drag. We'll put this back to 2 though. I think it looked fine when it was on 2. Hmm. So now we're gonna work on the pressure pad so that as we push it, once it gets on it, the push stops. And we're gonna want to make sure it's not just partially covering, that it's mostly. Hmm. Ugh. I crossed my legs the other day. Yeah, I can't. Just sitting in this chair, and this shows like just how much I'm just sitting here in this chair working all day, because I like sprained my ankle just crossing my legs and just sitting here. Apparently, can't sit on my feet. Yeah, we're gonna create a new script, oops, and we're gonna name it pressure. Add it to the object, and then open it. So we're gonna start with a trigger enter. So void on trigger loop. If other dot I feel like Jesus other dot tag square, then if other dot, can I just do position? I think I have to grab the transform, so position, no. So other dot transform dot position. Oops. Equals position. Oh, sure, we're gonna want to use stay. So on trigger stay, I'm not a big fan of. It's pretty inaccurate. And he uses it, but it's like I don't know. I don't think I've ever been able to use on trigger stay effectively. What I'll do because it's just I don't know. It's not accurate because it calls like um I think it calls like fixed update instead of update. So instead of calling once per frame, it calls like 24 times a frame or something. Um, so it messes up with using like input from the player, but this should be just handling physics, so it should be okay. So there's on trigger enter where you have a collider such as the one that's on this pressure pad, and you as soon as you touch this collider, it calls on trigger enter, just like when a script's being like activated, when it's being put into the scene. So when you start the game and it loads and it's saying this script exists, it calls or it calls void awake, and so that's like on load essentially. And god damn man, sorry about that. So the non-trigger exit does just like enter, but as it's exiting. What I was saying is, so void awake is like when it's being loaded. Void start is when the script actually runs. And so uh, on trigger enter is like void start. And then same with exit. So it's called once upon entering or once upon exiting. Stay is continuously called so long as you are still interacting with that collider. So oh, by the way, my my prototype for my game coming along fantastically. I mean, I'm just shocked. I've got the main menu. I've got like the first level. I've got AI developed, character controller, the basics for the level design. I've got the map where you can access the different levels. I can't give much detail about the actual game itself, but I mean, I could have a playable demo and prototype ready by the end of the month, not the end of this month, but by the end of next month, if I like quit everything that I'm doing, which is not going to happen. But ideally, I'll be able to have it all good um, in 6 months. So by the end of this year, that's my goal. Say it right now, live for you guys. By the end of this year, I want to have a demo for not these games. Like what I'm making right now, technically, yeah, this is a demo, but it's not a demo for something that's like this is going to be fully developed as a game with like 50 levels and it's going to be just like a super awesome Mario game or whatever. Like this is a closed singular project with like just a very short amount of content so that it can go into my portfolio and display my work. And that's also why I'm using this to do a live stream so that I can teach you guys the basics of programming, Unity development, and all this stuff while I'm making this demonstration project to show potential employers. But my game, we'll see. Hmm. Oh, that's right. This is going to be on the pressure pad, so we're going to want to check for the moving box tag, um, which I feel like I almost never had spaces, but should be good. And then we're going to say not if other dot transform dot position equals transform dot position, uh, because we could and see uh, if this is in the collider. Keep checking until this position matches this pressure pad's position, and then you're going to lock the state of essentially you're going to turn the box kinematic. So if an object is kinematic, it means that it's like not affected by physics anymore. So it can't be moved. If you hit it, it still can be a solid object, but it's yeah, it's not going to be pushed. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the vector3. This is very useful, so pay attention. Vector3 dot distance. And so you'll notice right here in the little pop-up tooltip, it says vector3 is a float, so that means it's decimal values. And so vector3 dot, well, the distances, is going to use vector3a and vector3b, and it's going to return the distance between A and B. And so what that is going to mean is it's going to say like transform dot position and then other dot transform dot position. But what we're also going to do is we're going to declare this. So let's name this, make it a float. We're just call it lowercase distance. And let me do a debug. That's what he did. So gotta emulate the pros, right? So debug.log, not error. And then we're gonna say distance. So when you're doing a debug.log, you can just type whatever you want and it'll come up in the console. But you can also add variable values. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, so we're gonna say distance, and then you wanna leave a space. And then you're gonna go outside of the parentheses and say plus, and then you can add in whatever. So we're gonna say distance, and then and that. And so it's going to then, in the console, it's gonna say distance colon, and then there's gonna be a space, and then it's gonna show the number that is this float value. So you could also just put something like this. So debug.log distance, and it's just gonna pop up with that float value. But this way you can conjoin a string of text and a physical variable if you so choose. Save it. What? So it's checking that distance. So cool. And now we'd have to create another if statement. Hold on. Make sure I don't jump ahead of him too far. So we're gonna do the if check, check the distance. So if the distance is less than 0.05, and then oops, about that. And then we're gonna say other dot get component rigid body is kinematic equals true. So other dot get component rigid body dot new is kinematic equals true. We'll call the mesh render. We're going to change the material color as well. Color dot blue. So by the way, just saying blue or red or green, it's essentially like when you're doing it's probably not good that I always empty my recycling bin and give you guys all a chance to sit there and like snoop all over my desktop right now. Everything that's on there should be fine to see. Oh no, no. But uh, yeah. So I feel like it's similar to when you go to do like color in some sort of graphic software, and they have these preset colors. So you're like, oh, I want to do green or I want to do blue. But you can also go in here and like adjust the values for the RGBs, um, or like the what is it, saturation and God, I can't think of the words for these right now. The hue, saturation, and vibrancy, I think, and then the opacity for like how transparent it is. But they're just like preset colors. And so if you want to manually set the RGB values, you can do that. So you'll notice right here. So by saying blue, it's just getting the RGB value 0, 0, 1, 1. And you'll see the reason why there's those four numbers, like a vector 3 has 3, because it's considering the x, y, and z of something. But you'll go into the mesh render here, and no, not the mesh render. We're going to go into here, the material, and there. Yeah. And you'll see that there's the RGBA, and so those four values is going to be the red, green, blue, and alpha. And the alpha is transparency. So you'll see it here. Should whoa, why wouldn't that change? Hmm. That's so odd. I have no idea why that's not affecting it. Transparent, but that's different. That's like making something like glass. It lets you see through it, even if it has like some coloration to it. I believe I have, yeah, I should have an article on my Medium thing for creating glass materials so you can create windows and stuff. If you guys want to check that out. That's so weird. I don't know why that's not. It's not affecting that. But let's see, destroy this. Wait, why would he do that? So then he wants to destroy the pressure pad. So he changes it to blue and then destroys it. Like, why would you even? Hmm. Well, let's see what happens. So we're checking the distance. So once this box gets, essentially we're creating a range. So I could add another one. So if the distance equals 0.05, but the distance is greater than 0, then it'll work. Or we'd say like negative 0.05 would probably be better. So it's like not too far off. But it's not what he did, so let's just keep it simple. And honestly, this should be fine. The way this whole thing is set up, uh, it's gonna stop it as soon as you make that contact, and so it's not gonna matter if you push it farther because you won't be able to. Bam. Now, also, there's no mesh render. Yeah, there's no mesh render attached to this. It's attached to the child object, and so you'd have to do um, the uh, transform dot get child no, transform dot child would be child count child it might be get child, but then you gotta do like 1 0, so it always starts at 0, and so he might have his different than mine, but yeah. So the pressure pad has one child object. So this is child 0, and then this would be child 2 and child 3, and yada yada yada. But that should work. Let's make sure we save it, and then. So one thing that bugs me is when I try to follow along with him, but the way his is set up is different than mine. So, yep, changed it. But if we now take the pressure pad, or no, the movable box, and we move it, their pressure pad is blue. Can't even see it though. So what would it matter? Oh no, his mesh render is not on it either, so he's gonna have to do the child thing as well. Oh, he's not gonna. So he's talking about doing null checks here, but I have a feeling, and he might not, but that he's gonna full on create like a private. Well, you can do private or public. It's better to do it like this. Serialize it, make it private, and then. That's so weird. She's literally sleeping with one eye open. Hmm. Wonder how long I had my my camera thing removed right there, but just realized it was like that. Uh, so Ashira's behind me in her bed sleeping, and she's just like one eye open, just sitting there, just out, and her eye is so red because clearly she's asleep and it's open, and oh man, oh. Oh god, it looks so weird. Because then her other eye's like opening, but it's like moving around as she's dreaming. God, she looks like the freaking dog from Resident Evil. Whoa. Oh, yeah. So if he did this and then did game object and then whatever the like display whatever it's called. then he'd create the reference, and then he would in here it would say display, um, instead of the transform get child, it would be display dot get component mesh render da 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 da. Honestly, he should just do the get child, but we will see. He might. So now he's declaring the mesh renderer. So we've got these are going to be outside of this, by the way. Right? Yep. But he didn't do that. He did mesh renderer, renderer, and then he's going to equal get component mesh renderer. Okay. All right, so he is doing what I'm doing. He's doing it a little bit different. So I just built off of what he did and just corrected it because it was in the wrong thing. So the way he's doing it actually is technically better. It's very similar. So I'll leave that up there for a second while we do that, and we're going to say get component in children. Oops. So kind of like how we have get child and get the zero child object. So this is going to specifically call from the moving or from the pressure pad. It's going to call this. But if there were more objects in there and they got mixed around or something happened, it would break this. And so instead of doing that, we're just going to say renderer dot material. Yeah. But you're going to want to do a after a get component. So whenever you're really doing a get component, you want to do null checks to make sure that you did in fact get that component. So if renderer does not equal null, then do this. Oh, by the way, destroy this is destroying this script. So we'll see the script. I believe it is. Let's see. pushing it, and script got destroyed. Well, there it is. That is a pressure plate that's moving an object, as well as using a number of different aspects, such as getting the mesh renderers, doing a little bit more practice with null checks, and then this one right here, the float distance, which notice we didn't use any other system using namespaces to access any other libraries. So vector3 dot distance, and then you're going to have transform A and transform B, and you're going to check the distance between them. That's just so useful because it creates a range. So like if this range is there, but it's a range of um, tracking the distance between objects. So it's oh, well, with that, you guys, let's reset the player position to be back down there towards the bottom. And I'm gonna save it. And let's do a test. So actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Just real quick, we're gonna add to that pressure plate the pressure pad script. So we're gonna create a call to a game object similar to what I was just talking about. So private game object, and this is not to do with the actual course. This is just something I'm going to add because we're actually done. This is the extent of this project, and I'm going to be saving it, uploading it as a demo, and starting my next project, which is going to be using some actual graphics and animations to create another platformer like this, 2.5D, yada yada yada. But we're going to use animations to do like ledge grabs and climbing up and things like that. So we'll see how that all goes. But let's do this, and then we're going to say, yeah, we want this, and then it's going to say, well, don't we have a game manager? UI manager. Not using a singleton. I could have sworn we had a game manager. What is it that's causing us to reload? Is it in the player? So damage, load scene. Ah, here we go. So we're gonna go into the pressure pad, and we're gonna do two of these actually. So we're gonna call this win text And notice I'm not using the namespace using UI, so it'd be using Unity Engine.ui because we're just calling the game objects. So I'm just going to activate them, make it very simple. So private game object, whoa, and call this restart text. Like that. And then we're going to say right before we destroy this, underscore win text dot set active true. And do the same thing with underscore restart text dot set active true. And now we're going to save this. We're going to create a couple references on this pressure pad as we create under the canvas. Let's say UI text, call it win underscore text. And then we're going to duplicate this, and this one's going to be called restart underscore text. And this is going to say press R to restart. And then this is going to say you won. And for one, we're gonna deactivate both of them. And then on the pressure plate, drag the references, not coin. That stays on there. This must turn off. So pressure pad, win text, restart text. So that'll activate those upon touching them. But then we got to add the restart feature, and so then can say, I don't know why we got to destroy this script. So we set the object of the box to kinematic, and oh, it's because it's going to keep running and running and running. But you could just do a bool check to get rid of that. But we'll need to do some sort of a check to see if you won. So we'll need to make a call to something. I guess I don't want to do this, but player, play a play. And then we're gonna say start. We're gonna say if. No, we're gonna say player equals find game object with tag. No, sorry. Player equals game object with capital G dot find game objects, not plural, with tag, and then in parentheses we do player, and then get component player. Whoa, bro. There. So player, and so then we should be able to go player. We're going to create a new function, call it public, so that we can call it from another script. Void win game and you don't actually want that like that. Maybe it's here, and then let's delete this guy, and then we're gonna say bin bool, so private. No, I always spell that wrong. Private bool one game. And we're gonna say in here underscore one game equals true. It's gonna be default false. And then in update, we're gonna say way down here at the bottom, if underscore one game. Dang. Equals true, then if input dot get key down, and then in parentheses key code dot r, then we're gonna have to add scene management. So say player dot win game. Just call that. But we're gonna need. What did I have? It was already on the player, right? Yeah, scene management. So then we're gonna say scene manager dot load scene. One? No, 0. There's no main menu. Should be 0. Where the heck did we do that again? Scene manager. Right here, yeah, load scene 0. Save that, and let's actually, we never edited this text, so it's like super tiny and weird. So let's do that. Let's superimpose it, make it big, centered, stretch out the box, centered, and then we're gonna say huge font size. So press R to restart. Make sure it's in the box just for best practice. And then do the same thing with this. I'm actually going to delete that and duplicate that and then call this below text underscore text lowercase. And then we're going to say u1 exclamation point. And I don't know why it's not locking on. Man. These are also not raycast targets, so they won't block anything. Not that it would matter because we're not using anything that it would block, but you'll see as I move it, the center line turns blue. And that means it's centered. This one's not, but whatever. All right, U1, press R to restart. And if that's where the ground is, we actually want that raised up. So let's raise it. And then 1. And let's actually, I'm going to go into the player. main camera, we're going to change this to solid color and make it like Pixar. Ah, nice. That'd be fun. Just have to change the platforms. That definitely make it hard. Hard to see, that is. But okay, so we're gonna change that though, not to that color, but I'm trying to think. You know what? Actually, let's just keep this a skybox. Just trying to make it look a little bit less basic. This is basic as hell right now, but I don't know. We'll call that good. And then the moving platform would need to be not that color. So hmm. All right, and then last but not least, and this way anybody else who's in the program, it's gonna look a little different. Let's change these to be off. And then we are going to take the coins and let's go gold, silver, amethyst, and then up here we've got gold, silver, amethyst. Oh, I'm gonna go gold over here, and this one's gonna be silver, and then this one here is gonna be amethyst, silver, no, gold, gold, gold. And this one's silver. And then this one will be amethyst again. And then up here, that is gold, silver. Now this doesn't matter at all. But we are going to then add, let's add a coin here and a coin here. See if we can even reach those. So going through, we got some colorful coins. And then if you jump up, you'll see that one and you go, yay, bonus coins. All the way to the top. Um, do those. Oh, oh, yeah, it's outside the game. Still playtesting. Win text. I must not have made that link. So, try that one more time. I died. It's because that lack of control on the jump. And there. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. No, you can see the reflection of the skybox in the silver. See it? Now it should say, you won. Press R to restart. And if we press R, it restarts. But if I press R right now, it doesn't do anything. Only after we've won. And I'm going to make in order to use the elevator, let's see. Scripts. Got elevator. Elevator panel, right? I think that's where it was. The coin count's going to need to be 10 for the cost to write it. And we're going to say if and does not equal cost to write elevator. That's what we're going to do. So else if and is less than not or equal to, then what did I do wrong here? Flip this real quick. And then oh, meant to do here. Else if that, then I'm gonna have another text thing pop up. We're gonna say not that. Let's do it just to make this easier with the collision. On collision enter, if other tag equals player, can call elevator equals true. If player.coinCount is less than that, then create a new text object. So I'm going to say private serialized field, private game object, underscore you broke text, you're broke. I can just set that to true, yo. So your broke text dot set active true, and then we're going to set it to false if we leave it. So now let's create a new text object under the canvas. We're going to call this text The text is going to say, you need 10 coins to ride or to call the elevator. And it's not perfect. Do I care? No. So we're going to call this your broke underscore text. And set it to inactive. And elevator panel, go to the script, you'll see the reference, put it in there, and bam. So we're going to go hey, let's set the trigger. Why wouldn't it activate that? Hold on, did I not save it? If player.coinCount there we go. No? It's less than cost to ride elevator. Because on trigger enter, if other tag is player, is it not getting in here? So let's see, debug.log. This checkpoint 1. I usually use just the string checkpoint. It was killing me. For these checks, let's see. Bam, no debug, so it's not reaching in there. So let's take this and copy it here. 2. Save it. Checkpoint 1 gets called. So player.coinCount. Did I spelt that? I keep trying to cross my leg. It's not. It's just not working. It's cost to ride elevator is 10. And then the player.coinCount it's not 10. Why is that working? Because then right here, it's straight up not enough. Because it's not less than. Wait a minute. I changed it in here. I know what the issue is. That's a serialized field, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Aha! You go to elevator panel, and it's going to say cost to ride. This needs to be updated. So there we go. Now it should all work. And it's going to tell the player essentially, bam, as I forgot to make it bigger. Let's see. Make it bigger, raise it up. And then go. You need 10 coins to call this elevator. And let's add uh, you've you got coins. And press E to call elevator. And then we're going to go back in there, do the exact same thing we just did, but it's the you got coins, text. And then let's delete the checkpoints. We're good. So if this, it's already checking here. So let's do that update. Yeah. So actually, we don't want to do it. Yeah, we want to do it like this. So else if player chemical is greater than or equal to cost to ride elevator, then that is there. Otherwise, set to false when you leave. Because that way, the player will be able to tell they only have 8 coins, they need 10. Hate this jump. Oh. Alright. And then it's going to say, hey. There. One more time. Here we go. Dang. Alright. Press E to call elevator. Ah, there we go. And let's take the UI real quick, and let's actually change it. Make it darker. I'm gonna duplicate that. Gonna make that white. I'm just checking this real quick, see what this looks like. I don't think I like it. Oh. Nah, that would be too much work to align that without doing it in some software. But we're gonna take that, and then I'm gonna move the coins here. Make it a little bigger. Same with the lives. A little bigger. Let's say 75 and 75. Coins. And with that, we'll save the scene, save the project, and we're going to create a new folder, close out of those scripts, and create this new folder here. We're going to call it 2.5D platformer demo. And then we're going to go back in, going to go build settings, make sure that the scene is in here. We're actually going to rename it from sample scene to game scene. And then save it. Go to build settings again. Remove that, add open scene, and then build it for this. Let's go into the player settings, and that is right here. We are going to go into, I believe it's graphics. No. Quality? Player. Resizable window, yes. Full screen window, no. We want it on windowed mode. Default screen is 1920 by 1080. And then that's all I want to change. And yep. So now with that, we're going to select build, go to my desktop, and we're going to choose the 2.5D platformer demo, select folder, let it build. Shouldn't take long. Build result failed. Build method errors. Okay. If this is like the file-based stuff I've used in the past, yeah, exclude on everything. Try that one more time. You guys shouldn't have to worry about that. So, oh, let's save the project again. Now go to build. and that has to do with the assets that I imported from Filebase, which is like the asset store for Game Dev HQ. And everything should be good. We're going to hit build once again, select the demo folder, and then it's going to build. We're not going to have any issues. And bam, there it is. So now if we close out of this, if we go here on my desktop and go to this new demo file, I'm going to open it up, and we're going to click on the exe, and it's windowed. That's just what we chose, so that way people can exit out of it if they don't want to keep playing. And here's the game. Whoa! Oh, the physics. Oh my god. Yeah, it didn't work. I gotta figure out why playing it on like that max screen mode just decimates it. See if I can just cheat this. Ah. um. Dang. Well, I guess the demo doesn't work. It might be because I'm on a 4K screen. Let me. I mean, I doubt that's the reason. Let me just check real quick. Nope. But yeah. So assuming that your game doesn't have that bug, which I will correct that bug on my time, then you can just go to GitHub, and we're going to go to My Repository. We're going to go to the platformer, and then right here you have releases, and we can create a new release. We can give it a title. We can give it a tag, such as like version. You'll see right here it explains the suggestions for tagging. So it'd be like version v.1.0, and then we'll call it Super Jump Dude. And you write a description. This is portfolio work. And then you would just drag and drop the exe file that we have here. And just drag and drop that right here. Attach binaries by dropping them. That's what it's asking for, is the .exe. And you will see, you can check it as a pre-release, but you'll see the exe there, and then you just hit publish, and you will have a fully accessible demo. Now, I'm not going to publish this one because it has that bug I need to fix. But you guys have made it all the way to the end. Let's see. Where we go? Okay. So, I am Lone Crow 503. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey, this game development journey where we created a 2.5D platformer together, step by step from the ground up. As you guys can obviously see, between just platforms, moving platforms, elevators, puzzle objects, character controller, you could take those concepts that we went over. You can copy me, you can recreate those. You're absolutely fine to do that. And if you've sold that game, like it's not a problem because the source code, mine's a bit different than his, but it's fairly similar for Jonathan Weinberger's. But these are accessible scripts that you can find online. And honestly, programming is hard to copyright. You have to, it can't be like, oh, he created a character controller in the same way that I did, it would have to be something like what Warner Bros. Studio did, which, uh, like, I mean, they're cool, but screw them for this. They got a copyright on creating a system that allows NPCs in your game to remember interactions between you and them, which is such a broad category that, I mean, there's no way they're going to hold that forever, but they got it. They got it legal. They probably paid somebody a lot of money to be corrupt as hell and sign that off because that is BS. Because, I mean, there's so many games before them that have done that, and that's like literally, I mean, you could call that the same. I mean, they could try to sue somebody for saying that you sell something to a shop, and then when you go back to that shop 10 minutes later, they have a tab for the items that you sold to them so you can buy them back. Just because it's remembering, whoa, that just scared the heck out of me. Thank you for the follow, Rooter Alice, Makana. Appreciate it. Uh, Oh my god. There's the whole little chime sound of the zombie as you pop up on the stream. And I didn't even know I had any viewers on here live right now, so that made me jump so high. Um, you can see I'm gonna have Ashira say goodbye to you guys with me. Um, but yeah, so Warner Bros. Studio, they added this mechanic. Come over here, sleepyhead. What are you doing? What are you doing, huh? Come on. Come over here. Come on. Come. She's wiggling her tail, but she doesn't want to come. In her giant bed with all those pillows and blankets. And oh, yeah, she's comfy. Little zombie dog. Um, but so if you've ever played Shadows of War, Shadows of Mordor, the Lord of the Rings games made by Warner Bros. Studios, you'll see that they have I believe they call it the Nemesis system. And it's where when you're fighting orcs, if they kill you, or you kill them or whatever, then there's traits and things that gets recorded and then updated into new characters. And so if you killed them with fire, if you killed them with wolves, if you um, like just brutally murdered a bunch of their friends around them, or whatever happens, then there's a chance it can take those things and then change the dialogue that the AI chooses to use. So instead of choosing from this option, or this option of voice recorded dialogue, it's going to choose from this option, or this option. So instead of being like, "Oh, we meet again, do we? I'll cut your feet off for sure this time," they'll look at you and they'll say something like "You're not gonna burn me this time around," or something, so that it makes the player feel like the game is more fluid. And it's all smoke and mirrors, but you can't copyright that. That's ridiculous. But just using the scripts that I provided for you guys is totally fine. There's only so many ways that you can move a character controller, and so using that type of stuff, like you can't put a lock on that. So you're good. And sorry, Ashira is too comfy to come over here, but let's see. Actually, can we zoom this in? Let's see if you can just a little. Look at that bug. What are you doing? See your little tail flipping. She was. What if I tried to tempt you with Mr. Fox, huh? You want to come over? You want to come over and say hi to Mr. Fox? Yeah. This is her favorite stuffed animal. It's like her teddy bear. She sleeps with it, snuggles with it, and everything. Come. Oh, come here. I love. Who's a good girl? Yes, she is. You want Mr. Fox? Yeah. She's like, I wanted him, but not in your lap. So, you want to say goodbye to our lovely viewers? She's like, I'll say goodbye to you. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and you'll have to check out next time when we're going to be doing another similar platformer, except that time we're going to be doing more animation work. We're going to do more graphics. We're not going to be doing the 3D modeling or actually creating the graphics ourselves. We're going to import them. I'm going to import them from Filebase, which you guys you might have access to, but you're going to have to talk to Game Dev HQ to get the same stuff that I have because it costs a little bit. But there's tons of free assets on the asset store. If you go into Unity, you can see, just go to the asset store and just hit the free tab. Cycle through, look for some 3D models and with animations and whatnot. And yeah, follow along. But until then, peace.